That was my very first road trip, and I paid for it with my first paycheck as well. What else did I do with that money? Well, I paid off a little student debt, and I invested some as well. For many, receiving that first paycheck is the first taste of financial independence. I remember feeling all grown up, and that it was a lot of money to receive as well. Sean, it's good to meet you.
It's good to meet you, Donna.
But could I have made smarter moves with my money?
Sean, did I make the right decision all those years ago with my first paycheck?
Yes, I think after focusing on education for so many years, as you enter the workforce and you get your first paycheck, it's okay to reward yourself. But what you can have done is to sit down, start thinking about what goals you may want to achieve. For young adults, they could make some of their biggest financial commitments pretty soon. Yeah, they could be planning for a holiday, planning for further education, planning for a wedding, planning for housing that includes renovation costs, as well as having children. And you can start off planning by thinking about the goals that you want to plan for. When do you want to achieve those goals? How much would these goals cost? As well, calculating the monthly amount that you want to set aside to achieve those goals. You could also prioritize paying down any education loans or personal loans that you may have, and build up emergency funds of at least 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses. I mean, for young adults who are gig workers or freelancers, they may want to build up at least 12 months of their monthly expenses for emergency funds, as their income is more unstable.
So you're straight out of school, you've got your first job, and you get your first paycheck. You've got to start having these financial habits, right? What are the ones that young people should be focusing on?
The first financial habit they should develop is to build important savings habit. And that's one way they can do that is to spend within or below their means, and they could do that by paying themselves first. So as salary gets credited to their bank account, they could set up a standing instruction before that with their bank, such that on payday, the set savings amount is automatically transferred to another bank account, and they could designate that bank account as savings. The next financial habit they should develop is to really take an interest in terms of building their personal finance knowledge. And by doing that, there's a wealth of financial content out there. It could be through articles, it could be through videos, it could be through TV programs, and consuming content such as CPF, housing, investments, insurance, that puts them in good state in terms of optimizing their personal finances and building their wealth over the long term.
If one were to look at one's paycheck like a pie, Sean, what are the critical elements of how that pie should be divided?
So we mentioned about prioritizing savings first. They should then first compute how much they will need to set aside of their monthly expenses towards meeting some of their important goals. It could be their further education, it could be for their housing or wedding. Set aside their savings first, with the remaining amount that they have focus on their needs that they have, their monthly expenses. It could be their mobile phone bills. It could be their parents, providing allowance for their parents should they need to support their parents. And then finally, the remaining amount then looking at allocating it towards their wants. For example, dining at a nice restaurant occasionally, or going for a nice holiday in Europe, for example. When it comes to investments, I think for young adults, they should focus building up the core portfolio of their investments first. That's by investing in a globally diversified pool of funds. They will provide them the greatest chance of getting the returns that they need over the longer term. And it's important that they start early, and that will help them to reap the benefits of compound interest.
But what would you say to somebody who says they maybe don't earn enough money to have any kind of plan at all?
Yeah, so for those who find that they don't earn enough, that's where it's even more important for them to prioritize their needs first over wants, pay off any loans that they may have. They may look for alternative sources of ways of supplementing their income. It could be a second job, so that they are able to meet all the current expenses that they have, as well as accumulate towards the other goals that they intend to achieve.
Besides living within your means, it helps to make saving and investing a habit.
I don't think any amount is too small. There are some plans out there that allow you to start from as low as $50 a month. The key thing is to actually get into the habit of setting aside money regularly. Within a young person's priorities, there should be a plan to set aside retirement savings, investments, as well as look at things such as insurance protection needs. The key thing is to actually start with a habit of setting aside a regular amount rather than actually being too focused on the amount to set aside.
This is also a good time to get insured.
The younger you are, the less likely you are to have accumulated health conditions that come with aging. So you are less likely to be loaded up or being charged higher premiums for the protection that you need. I think you should look at what you need in case of death or critical illness. And I think as a rough rule of thumb, you should be looking to have coverage that's equal to at least 10 times your annual income in case of death or critical illness.
It takes time to build up good personal finance habits and plans, and it might take the first year of your working life to get things in order. It's also not all work and no play.
I'm personally a big believer that you should splurge, you should celebrate. I mean, you've reached this stage of your life where you're starting work, you probably just finished school, so you deserve to be congratulated. I think you just need to remember the basic rules that are relevant for everyone. Do not get into excessive credit card debt, for example, and do not spend more than you earn. Apart from that, I think you should celebrate life successes. Life is hard enough.